If you ask 10 people what the best meal for unclogging your arteries is, you're probably going to get 10 completely different answers. Someone will tell you to drink lemon and garlic water every morning. Another person will tell you that you need to completely eliminate fat. Someone else will say you should go keto, while another person will tell you that the answer is a strict vegan diet. But here's the problem. Your arteries don't become healthier because you found one magical food. And despite what you may see online, there isn't a single meal that can simply dissolve years of arterial plaque overnight. What you can do is build meals around foods that target some of the major risk factors involved in atherosclerosis, including high LDL cholesterol, high blood pressure, insulin resistance, and chronic inflammation. And that's what I want to show you today. I'm going to give you one simple meal that combines several of the most useful foods for cardiovascular health. I'll explain exactly why each ingredient is there, what it may be doing inside your body, and then I'll show you some foods that people often believe are heart healthy but may not be the best choices. But before we build the meal, you need to understand what we're actually trying to change. Because arterial plaque isn't simply a pile of fat sitting inside your blood vessels that you can wash away with a detox drink. Atherosclerosis develops over many years. LDL particles can enter the artery wall, particularly when the blood vessel lining is dysfunctional or damaged. The body responds to this process with an inflammatory response, and over time plaque can develop and become more complex. That's why the most useful dietary strategy isn't about finding one ingredient that cleans your arteries. It's about consistently improving the environment in which your blood vessels have to function. So if I were building a meal specifically around cardiovascular health, I'd start with a large serving of vegetables. And there's a reason for that. Vegetables provide fiber, potassium, vitamins, minerals, and a wide variety of plant compounds called polyphenols and carotenoids. Leafy greens such as spinach, kale, and broccoli are particularly useful because they're nutrient-dense without contributing a large number of calories. And vegetables also help solve another problem. When you fill a significant portion of your plate with vegetables, you're naturally leaving less room for highly processed foods. Now, the second part of this meal is something many people are afraid of when they're trying to improve their cholesterol. Healthy fat. And one of my preferred choices is extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil contains mostly monounsaturated fat along with polyphenolic compounds. Research on Mediterranean-style dietary patterns has consistently associated this type of eating pattern with better cardiovascular outcomes. But here's an important distinction. I'm not telling you to drink olive oil by the spoonful. It's still calorie-dense. The goal is to use it in place of less favorable fats and highly processed sauces or dressings. So drizzle a modest amount over your vegetables. Now we need a source of protein. And this is where fatty fish can become an excellent option. Salmon, sardines, and mackerel provide omega-3 fatty acids, particularly EPA and DHA. These fats have important effects on cardiovascular physiology, and regularly eating fish can fit into a heart-healthy dietary pattern. And if you don't eat fish, you can build the meal around another minimally processed protein source such as beans or lentils. Which brings us to one of the most underrated foods for cardiovascular health. Legumes. Beans, lentils, and chickpeas are packed with fiber and also provide plant protein. And fiber is particularly important because some types of soluble fiber can help reduce LDL cholesterol by interfering with cholesterol absorption and increasing the amount of cholesterol that is excreted. So imagine your plate now. Half vegetables. A serving of fish or legumes. And then we're going to add another food that deserves much more attention. Whole grains. Oats, barley, and other minimally processed whole grains can provide soluble fiber, including beta-glucan. And beta-glucan has been studied extensively for its ability to help lower LDL cholesterol. So instead of thinking about carbohydrates as automatically bad for your arteries, think about the quality and context of the carbohydrate. A bowl of sugary cereal is not the same thing as a serving of steel-cut oats. A pastry is not the same thing as barley or beans. The food matrix matters. Now let's add one more ingredient. A small portion of nuts. Walnuts, almonds, and other nuts provide unsaturated fats, fiber, and other nutrients. Again, portion size matters because nuts are energy dense. But used appropriately, they can be an excellent addition to a heart-healthy meal. And finally, if you want some fruit with your meal, choose whole fruit rather than fruit juice. Berries are an especially useful option because they're rich in polyphenols and fiber. So if I had to turn everything we've discussed into one simple plate, it might look something like this: a large serving of leafy greens and colorful vegetables, grilled salmon or another oily fish, a serving of lentils, beans, or a whole grain such as barley, a small handful of walnuts. Extra virgin olive oil is the dressing. And berries or another piece of whole fruit afterward. Notice something important. There's no detox tea. No miracle powder. No special juice. And no ingredient that supposedly scrubs your arteries clean. The power comes from the combination. You're getting fiber. You're getting unsaturated fats. You're getting plant compounds. You're getting protein. And you're reducing your reliance on ultra-processed foods. But now we need to talk about the foods that can undermine all of this. Because you can eat a beautiful salad for lunch and then unknowingly consume hundreds of calories of added sugar and refined carbohydrates through the foods you eat afterward. One example is sweetened yogurt. Yogurt itself can be a nutritious food, but some flavored varieties contain significant amounts of added sugar. So check the label. Another one is fruit juice. Even when there's no added sugar, juice can deliver a concentrated amount of naturally occurring sugar without the fiber and chewing that come with eating whole fruit. And then there are processed meats. Bacon, sausages, salami, and other processed meats are foods I'd keep limited if your goal is cardiovascular health. The bigger picture matters more than one ingredient. If most of your diet is built around vegetables, fruits, legumes, whole grains, nuts, fish, and minimally processed foods, you're creating a very different nutritional environment than if most of your calories are coming from processed meats, refined carbohydrates, sugary drinks, and packaged snacks. And there's one more thing I don't want you to overlook. Food alone isn't the whole story. Physical activity is extremely important for cardiovascular health. Regular aerobic exercise can improve cardiovascular fitness, blood pressure, insulin sensitivity, and several other risk factors. And resistance training is useful too because maintaining muscle becomes increasingly important as we age. But there's an important medical distinction here. If you already have significant coronary artery disease, don't assume that changing your diet means you can stop prescribed cholesterol or blood pressure medication. Lifestyle and medical treatment aren't necessarily competing strategies. For some people, you need both. And if you have symptoms such as chest pressure, chest pain, unusual shortness of breath, or pain that spreads to your arm, jaw, or back, that's not something to treat with a food. That's something that needs urgent medical attention. So, can one meal unclog your arteries? No, but can the right meal become part of a dietary pattern that supports healthier cholesterol levels, blood pressure, blood vessels, and long-term cardiovascular health? Absolutely. And that's the mindset I want you to take away. Don't look for the one food that cleans your arteries. Build meals that make your cardiovascular system healthier over and over again. Because the meal you eat once probably won't change your arteries. But the meals you eat consistently for years can become a very different story. And that's where the real power of nutrition lies.